welcome to bexbugoutsurvivor. I have a pack full of different water carries, and I moan quite a lot about having to carry the weight of the water at a kilo a litre in the pack. And if you're trying to go lightweight, and I've got my kit to around 4.5 kilos, 2 litres of water at a litre a kilo, I've added 2 kilos, so that compact set that I've built is no longer 4.5 kilos. I've just put 2 kilos of water in. It's 6.5 kilos. So I carry my water a little differently. I'll show you a couple of different techniques you can use to carry water, but I've got a few water carriers in my bag, all different, and there's pros and cons to each, of which we're going to have a look at now. This one here I'm going to save till last because it's the way I carry water right now. Let's start with some really far out ideas, and I like this one. The drum, 2 litres. I like it to carry at least 2 litres on a camp out day hike. I can probably get away with a litre, but the drum here, probably better for motorcycle camping, car camping. But I have had this in a pack. Yeah, I have had this in a pack, and because all the weight is in one place like this, and I sat it on the very top of my pack, it carried quite well, you know, because let's face it, you put 2 kilo tent in your pack, you don't really notice it, but this sloshes from side to side. It's right by my head, and it gets irritating after a bit. So motorcycle or push bike cycling, car camping, you could get a couple of these even. But although I've had it in a backpack, probably not the best place for it. Although I have, and other than the sloshing of it, it didn't really offend me that much. Yeah, let's come to, I think, something like this. This is similar to a Nalgene wide mouth. This is by Gellert. It's 32 ounce, around 900 grams or millilitres. Adds up to the same. Wide mouth. It is quite durable. You can accidentally throw this on to a hard rock, it's not going to crack. That is why people use these type of Nalgenes. This one, like I said, is Gellert. So the advantage is it's so tough. There's a couple of disadvantages. The bottle itself, there's lighter out there on the market, but the biggest disadvantage to any wide mouth bottle is if this is full of water, I open it and I accidentally knock it over, I have lost more or less the entire contents of the bottle within just a couple of seconds. It'll just slosh out in one, and I have lost perhaps my whole night's water supply. So moving to a smaller diameter mouthpiece means if it was to fall over, I wouldn't lose all my water in one go. So let's have a look at a similar kind of thing, something like this. This has many downsides. It's from a supermarket, that's the company, has a flip up lid and a straw which you're meant to be able to sip through, and the shape of the lid has this piece here. If I just reach back on my belt and get out a beaner, I can clip on a beaner, and I don't have to carry water in the pack if I put this beaner on. We'll come to that in a minute, but I think the plastic will crack. It's not the toughest. I'm going to set myself up a cup of tea, I think, or a cup of coffee. I'm parched, haven't had one all morning, and then we'll carry on ASAP. The biggest disadvantage, like I said, is filling a lightweight or hyper pack with a kilo a litre. That's the biggest disadvantage for me. So to combat that, at the very end I'm going to show you how I carry water now, and again, it doesn't have to be replicated, this idea. If you don't like the idea, don't use it. It's not mandatory, it's not a requirement. I'm just trying to help you out if you too don't like carrying water. We all have to do it. I just don't like the weight of it, and it seems everything has to be in the Camelbak or bottles, and it doesn't always have to be. They are some of the disadvantages to them type. One, we have a drum which is really only fit for car camping or cycling, motorbike. Although if you carry pretty much only the basics, your shelter, insulation and cook set, that would be okay. I've done it in a much larger pack, I wouldn't recommend it. So now we come to some more suitable for hiking, backpacking, camping and so forth. If you still want to retain a lot of the rigidity of kit, probably you'd be looking at surplus like this. Surplus has its own weight issues. Might use that actually for a brew when it's finished. But this is the famous 58 pat bottle. This is tough as old boots. Has a smaller neck opening here. Has a really good O-ring seal. And these have been used in the British Army in the field for decades without changing the actual design or construct of the bottle. And I saw some guy on YouTube and he'd bought a reproduction one of these, which is absolutely baffling because I can pick these up in their dozens for less than £3 per bottle. So if I have application on my pack, the water could be carried there on the waistband of the actual pack itself. That's one option. I would prefer to carry water bottles than put them in the pack, and this is what this episode is all about, taking the water out of the actual pack itself. You're going to really benefit from just that simple change. So one option I quite like. Let's see if we can do better, cheaper, lighter. I'll keep that cup out because it's better than my silicone one here. Probably the simplest option here. These used to contain water or a pop. I think this was a Coke bottle. It's 1.25 litres. So two of these and I've got 2.5 litres. Again, I don't want to be putting these in the pack, and we had a look at these on a separate episode where I can put a bottle clip around the neck, clip on this, and this part here can then attach to a shoulder harness like that. Two of them on my pack, and I'd rather have the weight of 1.25 kilos each side of my backpack like that than have it in the pack. The smaller you go with the bottles, the lighter your water. Obviously, a lot of people, especially stateside, will use smart water bottles, and I think they're somewhere around 750 ml, so that's 3/4 of a litre. All these, including the smart water bottle, but especially here in the UK, this size fitting here on the thread is 28 ml, which means that your soya water filter will screw straight onto this. Of course, a lot of people will use some sort of filterization system using bags to collect and filter the water and drip it, but a lot of pro hikers will just screw the filter onto a 750ml smart bottle and swig from it that way. But this is a way, again, I can keep the weight out of the pack. So there's another option. Let's have a look at SS bottles, stainless steel. These are what I use in the winter. Not only is it a really good water carry, and it has that kind of screw top which is narrow. Remember, if it knocks over, it's not going to tip the whole content out. It also has an ability there to put a beaner on and carry on the shoulder. But the biggest advantage to SS bottles in the winter is this is a non-insulated bottle, which means I can just tip a little hot water into this and this becomes really, really warm. I put this bottle in a sock, I put that down the bottom of my sleeping bag, and it'll stay warm from about midnight to 6 AM. It'll still be warm, not hot. And of course, when I take my sock off, I've got warm socks to put on, and I've still got water to brew up with. So this is multifunctional. This is both my hot water bottle for the night and my water carry. So this is one of my favourite times I will carry a bottle. Again, it doesn't have to be in the pack, it can be on the pack. Ooh, pull off this ring here, which should allow it. God, everything's incredibly hot. Simmer that. We come now to one of these water carries. It's the Camelbak bladder. It is filled via a large opening here on the top. Disadvantages and advantages to using these. I find there's more disadvantages on a personal level. Unzip and you'll see inside it is nothing more than a little sleeve of water connected to a drinks tube, which in turn comes out of a sleeve here, and a bite valve. You bite, it opens up. You either love bladders or you hate them. I'm kind of in between. I think they're a good idea. I just don't like using them. That is not what this particular episode is about. We're about taking the water out of the pack. It's an option. So I don't want to sound like I'm hating on it or anything. It's just not for me. Just let that rest for a little minute. So before you start moaning that I should give up sugar, I've given up sugar a long time ago. This is coffee creamer. I could be putting cocaine here in my coffee. They'd still moan that I'm having too much sugar. Right, brew up. Not bad, not bad. Right then, let's move on to something I do like, which I find quite advantageous. Again, it's pretty subjective now to your own opinion, because you're either going to like it or you're not. If you don't like it, just carry on using bottles. But if you're like me and you're sick of carrying the weight of water, especially when you made a nice lightweight pack and you're having to find places to put your water, either on your hip belt or here, I'll show you two other ways I've managed to do this and I really like. Mind I don't knock that over. Right, the first one. This is one of my favourites. It's an LRRP. It's a US pattern 2 quart, which is 2 litre collapsible water bottle. Snap it open here at the bottom. This is what it looks like on the inside. It's just this kind of shaped bottle, and I can collapse the air from it when it's empty. The actual bag itself, dip this bag into the water source and wet this up. It'll act like a refrigerator for your water. You put your water bottle back in when it's full. Over it comes like that. Click into place. Down here there's a little pocket where you can keep your steri tabs. So half an hour later I have drinkable water. Cover water canteen 2.01 collapsible with pile lining. I've put a shoulder harness on mine. Each side has one of these, which is a D-ring, so you can put a shoulder harness on like that. Well, I've just put on any old padded support. It's not in the best condition, it's not brand name. This is option 1, but it's not the way I carry it. The way I carry it is quite different. Excuse me. What I do is I detach one side like this. I've altered its fit to go around my waist. Now mine sits on my hip. I hope I haven't put any weight on. Option 1, wear it on the front like this, like a bum bag, or stateside you'll know them as a fanny pack. Fanny. Slide it round a bit like this, which is the way I prefer it, and it sits on the side of my hip like that. Again, I've got 2 litres, which is 2 kilos. If you have 2 of these, you can balance the load out and carry 4 kilos. Now, I've walked quite a distance with just this on my hip, and I haven't felt any discomfort having more weight on one side than the other. But like I said, wear it on the front if that's the way you want to go with it. Sometimes I can have it round the back here, and that is a great option also, because I do have a hyperlight pack, which is just a couple of kilos or so, so I'm definitely not going to weigh the pack down by putting the weight of the water in the pack. This is how I'd be carrying it. Another way I really like, if you want a little more literage of water but with the same methodology, you could try something like this over here. This is my Bulldog extra large pouch, and I've put my 3 litre Raider inside it. So open it up on the zip. This is what I've got. 3 litre capacity with the old slide off there. The fill is from the top there. It's 3 litre capacity, makes it ideal for them longer hikes or overnight. Disconnect entirely if I want, or I can put the drinks tube back into this snap fit in here. This pipe also fits onto your Sawyer, and I know there's a lot of fanboys of these Sawyer filters. You know, they're pretty cheap filters. They're $20, 20 quid. You get them at Walmart. You're not going to get brilliant filters for that. It doesn't have a carbon element either, so the water is going to taste of the stream. But here's the biggest warning for you fanboys, and I've had this where you screw it onto a bottle, your water collection bottle. I've had the seal O-ring split on me and not noticed, and so I've screwed it on to either your knock bottle or your smart water bottle, and as I'm drinking from it, I've screwed it on. The dirty water is leaking from the bottle down and dripping all the way to my mouth. I'm not against soya water filters, don't get me wrong, it's just the reason I don't use it. And I had the tom tits for about 2-3 days. You know, I wasn't in pain or anything, it was an inconvenience, but it could have been a lot worse had it have been a case of Yardia, for instance. On the reverse of my tactical bulldog, this is the extra large, a row of molly which can be attached to any ladder system. PALS molly compatible, large capacity there, certainly 3 litres worth, maybe a bit more. I love this, I really do. This is the difference between my other systems. I can carry it just like the LRRP. On the LRRP, which I think is long range reconnaissance patrol, I can just put it like you saw onto my hip, onto round the back, wear it like a bum bag. You know, I can do whatever I want, and I can do the same with this. The advantages of this is here. Switch out the LRRP to this system. This is convenient enough for me though. I really do like this, it's probably one of my favourites. Same kind of deal here. Round, connecting to a snap. So I can wear this round the back, on the hip, like a fanny pack or a bum bag on the front, like that. It's quite comfy round here on the back. I don't know why people don't use this bit of space a little more often actually. But you can carry 3 litres without feeling the weight of the water, even if you don't use it as a drink straw. I can quickly take it off, there's no issue with that. I can use it like a shoulder carry if I want, and it sits under my arm. Once it's on its side and the water is lower than this point here, you're just sucking air. So I may try using it. Let's see if I can suck some air out of this. Try that. I think I'd have somewhere around 2 litres now. If I do have 2 litres, I don't see why I wouldn't, because it's a 3 litre Raider pack, and it's designed really for the Virtus, the actual bladder on the inside. So I've married it up with the Bulldog. I've kind of put it in vertical now, didn't before, and I should be able to access drinking water quite easily, just as well as a cap on this. It's filthy. There you go, plenty of water coming through. Another idea for you there. Like I said, I don't want to put a soya on mine because I have had issue with it dripping from this connection to my mouth, which is why I've got the trail shot. There is no direct contact from any part of the mechanism of the water filter to the bottle. It fires it like a water pistol into the bottle. A lot safer. That's also my sleeping bag heater for the winter. Don't leave home without stainless steel bottles in the winter. Just don't do it. They'll double up as sleeping bag heaters. They really will. Now with my little BCB pack, 25 litres, I kind of shove that LRRP around the back and do it that way. The reason why I put the Raider 3 litre and the Bulldog tactical gear extra large panel pouch together is because I really fancied having a tube to drink from. Okay, I think that's about done. I hope I've made my point. Now, like I said, you don't have to do any of this. I'm no expert in it. I just don't like carrying the weight of water, especially in the pack. If you can see the advantages of putting a couple of litres round the back or on your hip, I prefer that. I'm not recommending anyone else do it, but certainly try it. So now my Hyperlight camp kit at just 4.5 kilos remains at 4.5 kilos. I'm not putting 2 litres of water towards that pack, making it 6.5 kilos. One of them times I wish I hadn't given up sugar, but I have, and now my coffee just tastes like crap. So there's some of my water carries. I hope you can see some of the advantages to the two at the end that I like, the LRRP and the Raider with the Bulldog pouch there. They're a couple of my favourites. So until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you out there. Happy trails.